Hey, folks, it is so far just the two of us. I'm Scott. That's Day. Rob Manning will be on a couple minutes. He had to help out his mom with something, which you know what? When your mom needs help, you got to be there to do it. So,
Right.
yeah, this is Tales from the Film Set. We're going to be discussing all the cool things that are going on in the month of August. Probably talk a little Mutant Mayhem. Probably talk a little bit about the Meg, Last Voyage of the Demeter, Gran Turismo, the movie that's based on a true story, which I found really odd. We will probably also talk a little bit about the box office fail that none of us happened to see coming. Wow, who saw that? With Haunted Mansion, which is currently sitting at a rocking $33 million on a $157 million budget. Whoops. So, but in the meantime, Day, how are you, man?
You see my face, right? When
Yes, I do.
you see my face.
Yes.
I'm not smiling. I'm really upset about that because okay, I have went to go see the Haunted Mansion, and my views, to me it was a very good Disney film.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as though it didn't get the publicity that it deserved. And I
Mm-hmm.
really feel as though the audience and the people that had like feelings about Disney,
Mm-hmm.
it part of this is, and I hate to say it, it's kind of is Disney fault. And you put Boss Office.
Oh, shiz.
That was bothering me.
No, that's what happens when I'm sitting there trying to like type and listen at the same time. And
No, it's okay.
there we go. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So I really blame Disney. This is a really good film. This is a must go see. And besides all the jokes that they were saying, oh, because you were sipping off of Rosario Dawson, it had nothing to do with that when I saw the film. The film was on point. It had a balance of comedy and seriousness to it, which was a great element to the film. I really loved everybody's performance. I can't knock anybody down. Rosario Dawson to Lakeith, was it Stanford? Stafford?
Mm-hmm. Stafford. Danny
Tiffany
DeVito's in there
Haddish,
too.
Danny DeVito, Jamie Lee Curtis, especially what's his name? The guy
Well,
that
Owen Wilson was in there too.
Owen Wilson. I'm sorry, Owen Wilson. And also Jared Leto.
Mm-hmm.
And their and the kid, I didn't get the kid's name, but he did an awesome job. Everybody was believable in this film. Yes, the ghouls were like CGI, but it's a Disney film. You're not supposed to take horror seriously in Disney. You know, it's like I tell people, it's something to watch with your child.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing to just basically have Disney's like, oh, Disney needs to be fine. No, this is a family type film that everybody would enjoy if given the chance. And it has nothing to do with simping off of Rosario Dawson. And I'm just going to make that clear. This film was very good. Like, it had me sitting back. It's even better than the Eddie Murphy version.
Okay. And it's a good thing that Rob's not on yet.
I know. But we all do respect. Like I said, I'm telling audience, you have to go out and see it. You know, and I'm not saying just go see it because of the magic of what Disney had to offer. Don't go see it because, oh, it's another Disney product. No, go see it because it's a well-known product and the story is very well put together. You don't have the whole political aspects into this film.
You know, you look at a movie like that and you kind of had a feeling that it was a fun movie. You know, that it's something that, like I said, you take the kids to, you know, a movie that eventually when it comes out on, say, Disney Plus, you can park them in front of it and they can just sit there and watch it for a couple hours and enjoy it. You know, it was not meant to be anything, you know, massive in that regard. But what's funny about it is the fact that it slipped pretty much right under the radar, despite the cast that was involved. You know, I mean, Rosario Dawson right now has not just Haunted Mansion, but obviously Ahsoka coming out this year.
Right.
So she is pretty high when it comes to the Disney stock. But
Right.
the problem that exists is the fact that this movie, like I said, just completely they're sipped under the radar. And at $33 million on a $157 million budget on its opening weekend, none of us were surprised by that. But in this case, based on what you said here, honestly, maybe a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Sorry, I heard disappointing. I was thinking you were talking about like Pee Wee Herman dying and everything. So
we're going to get to that one too. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a bummer. No, we were talking about the disappointment that came from Haunted Mansion.
Who cares?
Well, he liked it, so you know.
See if you, and I'll bet you once y'all watch the movie, you will have a different perspective.
Mm. It's a popcorn movie, like I said. You park your kids down in front, on the couch, to watch for a couple hours. It's how I saw the movie Holes for the first time with Shia LaBeouf.
But it's one of those films. I will say you will enjoy it. Will you watch it again? Yeah.
Nah.
Because I'm going to be honest with everybody. The reason why y'all saying no, because it was poor advertisement. Is really what.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the advertisement, y'all be running straight to the movies to watch it. Well,
also got swallowed up by everything else this month,
exactly.
And also, obviously with Ninja Turtles next coming up this next month, it got swallowed up by Barbenheimer. And Mission Impossible to a degree too. So it was just one of those movies that just sort of happened to be there. And I don't know who screwed the pooch on this one. I don't think it's Kathleen. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy usually has some degree of input. I don't believe it was her in this case.
No.
But the decision to put this out at the end of July, in that window, it almost felt to me like that movie was just thrown out there just to be buried.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like. You had all these other top-notch films,
or tried to be top-notch films.
No, they were top-notch. Like you got your film, Barbie.
No, I'm saying like when you look at what you've had like all summer long, it was. I don't want to say Haunted Mansion was probably like a throwaway film, but I mean, Disney had enough going for it between Little Mermaid and Guardians 3 in May. And then you had what? Dial of Destiny this past month.
That's still at 330 some million.
Elemental, which didn't really shock the world either. Disney oversaturated its own damn market.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have enough stuff that's coming from one company, and then that stuff isn't exactly going great for you in the first place, why is anyone going to expect that Haunted Mansion is going to do a bombastic weekend or during the month of July or anything when the stuff that's predecessed it has been hit or miss?
Yeah.
Well, that was the same thing I said.
He's kind of doing it to themselves, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if their previous movies had done well, I would have faith going into this. But not just me, but I think all of America has this attitude of, I'll wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. Like
exactly.
Next month.
I heard that a lot around. They're like, "Oh, I'll wait for it to go on Disney Plus. Oh, I'll wait for it for Blu-ray or DVD." And you're like,
I mean, to be fair, by the time this does come out, it probably will be Halloween time.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, you look at it. If you bring two kids, and a family of four goes to see this thing, you're paying your entire Verizon bill to see this movie. In an era where people can't afford their Verizon.
Yeah.
I mean, you got $25 a ticket, plus obviously food because the kids are going to want whatever they're going to want.
Right.
And you can't tell a kid that they're not going to get anything, and you can't smuggle in like you can when you're an adult. I mean, not smuggle in. So yeah, I mean, you're looking at easily, $100, $150, $200 to go see a movie, and people can't afford that anymore. Not when they're getting ramen noodles and Chef Boyardee.
Thank God my theater's only $8 to go see it.
Okay, there you go. In this area, it's a little more pricey in some places.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, as a person that's watched it, I wish I would have just waited for Disney Plus. That's just my honest opinion. Day, I know you loved it, and that's okay because we're not always going to agree on the same things. Right. But I will say, I won't watch this movie again. Me personally, I watched it the one time. I won't watch again. Will I go watch Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy? Yeah, I love that movie. I'll watch that over and over.
That's right. You're in that reboot-itis, where one movie may have an emotional tie to your childhood, and then it's like, oh god, another one.
I don't
Ninja
like reboots, and I felt like they threw a bunch. I love the actors. Don't get me wrong. I love every actor that's in the movie, but I felt like they threw a bunch of names to try to just get people to go to the box office to watch this movie. I'm not saying their performance wasn't great. I'm just saying for the amount, when you had the other Haunted Mansion, there was only a couple big names, and they weren't even that well known at the time as much as they're well known now. So,
yeah, no, that was
Well,
purely Eddie Murphy on the first one. So I mean,
Yeah.
if
and
you couldn't get it done by his
had
star power.
and you had Sean Wallace in it, or Wallace Shawn in
Okay.
it as well, which, like I said, not everybody.
the same voice in
Yes.
everything he does.
Yes.
Well,
So-
see, the other side of it is also to a degree. I mean, obviously, Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson, they're all obviously getting paid however much they're getting for this movie.
And
But
Owen Wilson.
once the movie gets thrown to Disney Plus, their residuals drop to nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing here. The way the residuals work is if it's broadcast television, it's at a very high tier. Cable television is below that, and then internet streaming is at the very bottom. So in my case, I can get something that was on CBS, and I will make, say, a $50 residual, for something from years ago. It goes to cable, it's 15 cents, and then it goes to internet, and it's like 1 penny.
Oh
Because
wow.
that's the business model that a lot of these places have adopted, where they can throw it on the
That's what the
streaming
strike's for.
and then save money on
Yep.
the back end on the residual side.
And that's why the actors are striking with it as
Well,
well.
that's
the
a
actors
big part of
and
it.
writers.
Well, I was saying
Not-
in the
not-
actors.
Not to mention, I mean, you want to believe that a lot of the money that Haunted Mansion used for its production probably went into a lot of the special effects and everything.
Right.
Mhm.
Good one, Kyle.
Do you really need to have Jared Leto voicing a ghost?
And
At
that
this
was
point, Jared Leto is like the anti Dwayne Johnson. Like
Mhm.
Dwayne Johnson was known as like franchise Viagra. Like if you brought The Rock into something, you boosted up. Jared Leto is franchise cancer. All right, like
Yeah.
whatever you bring him into, it's not working.
But see, he's not even anywhere near a lead. I mean, he's pretty well buried in this thing.
No, but
well,
did you really need to go ahead and be like, oh, we have to get Jared Leto to voice the hat box ghost?
Well,
problem I
yeah,
had-
Paulie.
the problem that I had about that was not the fact that Jared Leto's in the movie. It just when they showed like the beginning of the movie, when they always show like the different names, it I can't say the word. It specified that Jared Leto was the character. Nobody
Mhm.
else said what character they were, but it
Mhm.
specifically said Jared Leto as the hat box ghost or whatever.
Look who we have. Look at our internet following that he has that's going to promote our movie. Woo!
Yeah, it's kind of like when they did Zendaya as Lola in the trailer. It said Zendaya as Lola Bunny for Space Jam 2. It didn't say anybody else's name, but they had to
Sorry.
specify,
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what? Because she's a draw.
She is.
Well, yeah, no, I know. And that's, to me, it's like, that's not fair to the other actors,
Right.
It's
And I'm
gonna-
not saying no, and I'm not saying that's right. What I'm saying is that's to give indication to
You're right.
fans that you could come see this film. Besides just indicating that all the actors are together, not separate. Like, if that was the case, Rosario Dawson as
The main character.
main character, Lakeith Stanfield as the main character.
I will say I liked his performance. I did like his performance.
Thank you.
I did. But like I said, it was Disney Plus worthy.
I like the Muppet
I'm
version.
sorry. But I will say, how's Barbie doing in the box office?
Impressive second weekend, yes.
But
Have we made it to 500,000 yet, or 500 million?
no, I
Actually, it's
will
about
say
700.
this, and this is
What?
not.
I noticed it's about 700 now almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did 500 million like by the time 10 days had gone by.
So
Barbie
if
is
it's at
currently
almost at 700 million, do you think third weekend it'll get to $1 billion?
It could. Right
Oh,
now,
absolutely.
that is the. Let me just blow this out.
Right.
Currently, right now, Barbie is currently sitting at third overall.
Beat
Whoa.
Fast X.
It's
Spider.
actually, it's probably
Spider-Man
going to pass Guardians.
Multiverse?
Will it pass Super Mario Brothers? I don't think so, but it could pass Guardians.
I hope it gets to $1 billion because I
Yo.
called that stuff. I called it.
Yo,
You know-
but you know what? I'm going to say this. You got to think their promotion and advertisement for that.
Mhm.
Because if they would have basically explained what was actually in the film, it would have. I think they wouldn't have that amount of steam that they have.
I don't know.
And
I
know
know
that-
I enjoyed it.
well, that's
you
like,
give me
Day, you and I were talking about that ahead
Yeah.
of time. What they call misandriny of the film, which is
Wait, who say Barney is number 3 in the country?
oh my god, this is dude. I'm having one of those days where I can't type shit. Ugh.
It's
hang
okay.
on a sec. BAR. Oops, typo. RBIE.
Oh, there will be a new Barney movie eventually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on to
Rob
that.
put something
Yes.
Rob said it within the group of us the other day that apparently they want to have like a Mattel CU, like an MCU that way.
Yeah.
It's going to have like Rubik's Cube and like Barney. I think Hot Wheels is going to be in there, which Hot Wheels could possibly work.
One of the other dolls, Poxy or what? Holly
Polly Pocket.
Polly
Yeah.
Pocket. Yeah, okay.
Polly Pocket would probably be not so bad. Just
Right.
hopefully,
I'm interested to
smart.
see what they'll do with Barney.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh God.
I
Jesus
love
Christ.
you.
You.
You
You
love me.
me.
Dude, FM Ghost, don't get it twisted. If I thought I would be like, hey, can I take you to Barbie on a date? I would take that. That was a date movie. Barbie is a date movie.
Yeah,
It kinda is,
technically, yeah. Barbie
I-
is a date movie.
I'll
So
see it
either the
not in a
pro-feminist
date.
side or seeing Ryan Gosling without a shirt.
Yeah.
So,
And
I went-
that's what sold them. I'm going to be honest with you. We did see the film. I had my biases about it. I do say it was a great film. It's just that I think it could have been an even better film if they didn't add certain things into the film.
I love that. Oh,
You leave Ryan Gosling out of this.
No,
I-
it has nothing. Well, part of it has to do with him, but it's not his fault.
I love the message that the movie gave.
As a
Good
fellow
message.
Ryan, I have to devote my entire heart and soul to this movie.
To your namesake. See, that's
Yes.
the problem I have with Scotty.
And-
What do I have except like a Scottish guy from Star Trek?
And Will Ferrell did a great job in that movie.
Oh yeah,
That's what sold it for me. You told me Will Ferrell was in it, and it's not one of his rated R comedies. Sold.
no.
Well, actually, we'll get to that when we go through the Cash or Trash, because
yeah.
I think he might be in some good standing next month.
Well, let me
Oh,
get
are
that.
you talking about that Dogs movie? Or
We'll
which
get to
movie?
that.
We'll get to
Yeah.
that.
There's a few different animals going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may or may not hit all 5 movies here. I'm curious to see, but
We only have
coming up this week, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, which both of you guys have already seen and have given reviews on the YouTube channel
and the TikTok.
and TikTok as well. Thank you very much. This basically our entire breakdown when it comes to Cash or Trash is very simple. Not whether the movie is good or bad. That doesn't matter. Will it make money or will it fail epically like Haunted Mansion, which, by the way, all of us, I think, predicted well on that. Ninja
They
Turtles
did
Mutant
not.
Mayhem
I didn't.
came into the box office is basically on a budget of 70 to 80 million dollars, which is honestly pretty affordable. So, Day, Cash or Trash?
I say cash.
Rob?
I say cash because 1, it's a kids movie. 2, it's still summer, so you're gonna. I mean, it's almost school time, but it's still summer, so you're gonna get that attention pulled in, and you're gonna still get some of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't think there's such thing as a bad Turtles movie, so I think it's gonna be trash. Hey, don't be talking trash about my
Hey,
Turtles.
I showed up in in both Michael Bay movies. Okay,
I like them.
I showed up in both of them. Proud of me. Ooh.
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking about the Michael Bay ones. I was talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 when they time travel back to Japan.
Don't
Hey,
be
check it out.
talking
We're in
trash
ancient
about that one.
Japan.
No, TMNT was a good one.
TMNT, I'll give credit to. It was different because we
Dude.
hadn't had a live action movie.
My era.
And then
Michael
go
Bay's
to
no,
Raphael
yes.
said,
computer
"Damn."
generated version, and then all
I
that.
like Stephen
Bays,
Millis. I loved Stephen Millis, Casey Jones.
Stephen Amell.
yes,
Yeah, he was
I
good.
like Stephen Amell's.
That was a
Yeah.
good
Ninja
choice.
Turtles next. By the way, Ryan, we never asked you on this, but I'll get to that in a sec. But don't forget, we had Ninja Turtles next mutation. We had Venus as well.
No, we didn't. That never existed. That was never. That's a fever dream.
I'm
That's
thinking the wrong universe again. Oh, I'm in the wrong
that's like
multiverse
that
again.
Shazam movie with Shaquille O'Neal. It didn't happen. It didn't exist. It's a Mandela
Ninja,
effect.
go,
There is no
Ninja,
such
go.
thing. There
Go,
is no
Ninja,
next
go,
mutation.
Ninja, go Ninja.
Go ninja, go ninja, go ninja.
Oh, the
go
fact
ninja.
that they had that. No. Oh.
Oh God, I took my father to see that in
That was a good
theaters. I'm
one.
not sure if he ever forgave me.
All right, so Ryan,
Mutant Mayhem, cash or trash? $80 million budget.
Oh, it's definitely going to be cash. I want to believe that, considering it has such a low enough budget, that once it goes worldwide, it should be able to bring in enough people.
and I really do think it's going to bring in all the kids.
Well, I do worry that because of Barbenheimer, you may have enough attention still on those two movies,
Right.
especially when we only got $33 million for Haunted Mansion.
Mhm.
There may be enough attention directed away from other movies because of those two that it may not have a stellar opening weekend, but I want to believe that for at least the month of August, it should have legs. It should be
Mhm.
good enough to like stay until all the kids have to go back to school and everything, or
Right.
the even the college age kids before they have to move away or travel or do whatever you have to. You got a solid 2-3 weeks that it can make its money. Absolutely.
And your guys'
70 to 80
review
million.
actually got us a TikTok follower, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay! Thank you to that one follower. Yes,
Yeah.
welcome.
Casey Jones will pop up. Well, see, actually, you guys know the answer to that, whether Casey Jones shows up or not.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No
That's fair.
spoilers.
I will say there are some characters that show up in this movie that I find very surprising.
Yeah.
No Shredder.
And they definitely do play with the whole lore, which you can say it is now lore of the Ninja Turtles.
Mhm.
They do a lot of different things. So this is not the traditional turtle story that you may know and love and
It was
are
all
used to off of all the television iterations.
right.
So there probably will be some. I mean, like we pretty much said, this is a Gen Z Turtles. So you have to go into it knowing that it'll be similar but still different.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not only that, do I feel everybody's saying kids, but what about the diehard turtle fans? People that actually grew up watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really think those are going to be the people that actually going to go see this film. How they interpret the film, it depends on them.
Hmm.
But I want people to understand, like what Ryan said, take this as a Gen Z version of the movie. But I will say this, the audience we were with enjoyed it. And these
Mhm.
were grown people, also kids. So it wasn't like, oh, we're going to see the Turtles and you hear nothing but kids talking in the theater. No, you had grown people and also kids cheering while watching this film. Am I right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's right.
no,
You guys
it-
saw it together too. So.
This is definitely a movie that I would say has maybe a little bit more depth than your standard Turtles movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
maybe that may rub some people the wrong way because it's like, just get to the fighting, just get to the ninja stuff. It's like, dude, believe me when I say, if you are actually upset by this movie in some sort of way, then you're also probably the same person that didn't like Barbie.
Whoa. Pause.
Whoa.
What? I'm saying, if you didn't like this movie, you probably also didn't like Barbie. That's all.
I
Are
love
you do- are
Barbie,
you
but I
doing
don't
that
have
because
interest
of
in
the
watching
fact
this
that
I
you-
movie.
said Barbie was okay. I just had some gripes to it. But I sure enough love the Turtles.
you're also a guy.
I'm sure he's grateful that you noticed that.
Okay. I'll accept that.
I didn't say that. That was him.
No, I know.
I don't even know
I'm
what you're
pointing
talking
at
about.
No, look,
I will say I enjoyed the Barbie movie, but I'll be honest, I'm gonna wait for this to come out in streaming unless somebody takes me. I don't have really that hardcore.
There's been enough free showings. My God, like
Yeah.
not just
no
this
free
past
showings
weekend,
where I
but
am.
apparently there's advanced screenings today. Like
Yeah, there is.
there are so many screenings before this movie is supposed to drop. I don't know who sold tickets. Like I don't know who's buying tickets.
Well, the three of us are all in the same Facebook group where they just give away free early screenings.
Dude, like I got my poster, I got my bandana that can't go around my eyes because my head's too
Well, it's
big.
New York State. It's New York City, though.
Which
Okay.
you know really does say something about the age of people that are supposed to be going to this movie.
Right.
Yeah, same poster.
I will say it was a little trippy seeing you both do the review because I wasn't expecting it. Because normally I'm either used to seeing just Ryan or seeing just Day or seeing just me. But when you both did, I was like, whoa. But then I realized, yeah, you guys do live by each other.
Turtles is about brotherhood, man.
Yeah.
Well, so is Barbie.
Well, Barbie is about sisterhood more so than brotherhood, but yes.
It's like no, I'm Ken enough.
No. It's like going.
It's not Ken enough. It's Kenuff.
No,
Ken enough,
like
whatever.
It's
Ken
the
enough.
hood of the traveling pants.
Oh, so anyway, the
Meg
Meg.
2. I never saw the first one. I'm gonna say trash.
Ryan.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. Next film.
All right. So basically, the Meg 2, the Meganing.
The
some
Trench.
people remember the first one, and when it came out, what, a few years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. Meg 2 surprised me because I didn't realize that even they were doing one. This comes in at $146 million budget. Cash or trash does not have anything to do with whether the movie is good or not. It's
Trash.
about whether it could make its money back and actually be a box office success. Ryan, I'm going to start off with you in this case here. $146 million budget. Will it be cash or will it be trash?
I'm gonna have to say this might be trash. Only because I think a lot of people, Tyler, you're free to disagree, but I understand that there, it might be something that plays well overseas, but if I remember correctly, when the first Meg came out, which I think was like maybe 2017, 2018, I think the box office wasn't doing so great around that time. So the Meg was pretty much a dominant movie for a few weeks because it really had no other competition. It literally, ironically, it was just this big old shark out in the ocean on its own. It was a big fish in a small pond. Now, not only do you have Turtles coming out, especially days before this movie comes out, because this comes out on Friday, whereas Turtles comes out on Wednesday, but you also still have Barbenheimer to think about too. And this is something that you have to think about, really just maybe for this weekend. But I don't see a lot of people going ahead and spending their money on something like this when the first Meg is still available on streaming. Like, I could easily go ahead and turn on HBO Max, Max. And
no, it's HBO Max.
Whatever. The one that's not Disney Plus. I can go ahead and turn that on, and the Meg is there to watch just like that. Now, whether or not they're going to go ahead and do the nonsense of, like, pulling it the day before the sequel premieres, which is always stupid. But if I can't see that you're going to get something different from this version that you didn't get from the first one. So why am I going to spend my money when the first one is easily accessible?
Here's the other thing too. Now the first Meg, I looked it up. The first Meg made $530 million on about a 170 budget. So okay, or 130 budget.
Right.
So not bad. However, don't forget, back then we were knee deep in Sharknado movies. We have not had any like shark movies for a while. So will that play a factor here? Because we know Sharknado, I think 5 had come out the same time this movie did. So people were still very tied to the whole shark movie genre.
Right.
You
Plus,
know,
Shark Week, has it come and gone?
It did actually. It did come and go. Because I saw something on my Fire Stick about it, and I was looking at it because there was a Shark Week thing that I had done a bunch of years ago in Long Island, and I never saw it. I never got the name of it. And the director was really awesome. And I told her, I was like, I'd love to work with you again. She's like, actually, I'm quitting after this project. I never saw her again. So
You like that?
I don't think this movie's going to do well. I think Barbenheimer is still, or especially Barbie, really, is going to be able to carry the weight of it. This may sound silly, but I think also to a degree, the NFL season starting up might have an impact on this movie a little bit because of the changes that have been going on. I think that could actually hurt this a little bit here too. But Meg 2 at $140-some million budget, I'm going to call it trash. Day.
Pretty much, like I'm going to tell people, this is going to be trash due to the fact that it's pretty much Deep Blue Sea all over again. If you ever saw, because he was in the movie Deep Blue Sea. So to me, this is like its fourth. No, is it third sequel to the film?
Wait, Jason Statham was in Deep Blue Sea?
Yeah,
I believe he was. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I remember the guy who played Punisher. I remember LL Cool J. I remember Sam Jackson because he got eaten. Spoilers. And then there's the girl. I forget which one she was.
And she dies in the movie. Spoiler alert.
Right.
And
yeah, it's pretty much just Thomas Jane and LL Cool J that make it out alive.
No, that was Jason Statham.
No, it's Thomas Jane.
Jason
So
Statham.
this is Jaws number 6.
If you're no, trust me, Jason Statham. It's not Jason Statham. It's Thomas Jane, the guy who played the first. Well, not the first Punisher, but Punisher before the MCU.
Yeah, Tom Jane was the early
enough.
2000s Punisher, not Warzone, but the first one.
I remember that because this guy had a lot more hair than anything Jason Statham has ever had on his head. You can go ahead and research that if you want.
Actually, I'm gonna do you one better.
I was gonna say the only reason why I knew about Shark Week is I got to try the first time I went to that cookie place, Crumbles or whatever.
Yes,
and they did a Shark Week cookie. I did not enjoy it.
All right, my fault. I'll take responsibility. It wasn't Jason Statham. It was Thomas Jane.
My God, it's so weird seeing him, but he doesn't look like himself with hair.
He was a diver. I think he might have even been an Olympic diver.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you can 100% see that it's Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like really white out everything, my God. It's like back when Vin Diesel had hair. It's like, it doesn't look right.
Okay, Skarsgård.
Yeah, oh my God, yes, he does look like Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So.
Well, I will say
he looks like, in that picture, he looks like he should be a High School Musical character.
Could be. He's in Glee.
As what, the creepy custodian? Like what?
No, he looks like, to be honest, he looks like Ryan from High School Musical, the brother.
I've never seen any one of those, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, Jason Statham got on the map because he was like an Olympic level diver for England. Which would explain how he can handle a lot of the scenes for the Meg movies because obviously it's a heavy amount of swimming involved.
Right.
Oh,
but,
I did not know that. I thought he was just
back,
ripped to be ripped.
I will take that back. Jason Statham was not in Deep Blue Sea.
It's okay. Considering how many typos I've had here, you're 100% fine today.
This is why you come to me.
Yeah.
Really,
I
Ryan?
have no life, but I have memories of movies.
So
in this case, I believe we all voted trash on this. Rob, you said trash too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob though.
Rob doesn't even want to bother with this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at this point, Rob's
trash.
just like, I already said it. I'm not going to say it again.
Trash.
I'm leaving.
Trash.
All right. This is a
Gee, I wonder.
one.
Oh,
This one is interesting because this could be a sleeper or one of those black horse moments where this could be one of those films that could sneak up on you and surprise everyone.
I mean,
And I'm not saying in a way where, sorry, Ryan.
no. Go ahead. I'm trying to think about how I feel about this.
Because this one looks very interesting. Don't get me wrong. See, it's hard to me to debate whether this is going to be trash or cash because it's an interesting concept. It's a very interesting concept. I am curious to see this film, to be honest with you. So it's like, on the basis of, this is a sleeper. I mean, a sneaker. Like one of those films that you probably going to underestimate and then it's just surprise you. I'm going to say cash. I'm sorry. I'm going to say cash because this is a sleeper film to the point where it's going to surprise people. And you're going to be seeing the amount of people that are actually going to go see this film. And it's probably going to make his budget back because I'm curious about this film. Because of The Voyage, I heard stories about this film.
You know, I think in this case at $100 million, it's also pretty feasible that way as well. Yeah. I do agree with you. I think this is going to be a sleeper. I think this is one of those movies that I think people want the suspense and the horror, and they enjoy that. That is a really strong niche that usually typically pays dirt, right. Hits pay dirt. So, you make 200 million, make $300 million, you've turned a profit, you've made cash on this one.
You're right.
If it was Dial of Destiny money, I'd be like, hell no. But at 100 million, which I think is pretty doable, I'm going to say yes. This is going to be cash here. Right?
I'm going to have to say trash. To be honest,
all right.
I understand the idea, and yes, it does seem like a creative idea, but just in normal movie-going history, as far as I've really connected, unless the boat's called Titanic, boat movies usually never do so well. So I mean, I can't exactly imagine a lot of people like really jumping aboard on the concept. I mean, yeah, they say it's Dracula, but basically it's just a giant.
By the way, Rob's going overboard right now too.
It might as well be like Jeepers Creepers at this point.
I am going overboard with my camera right now.
Yeah, I know. Basically, all that rocking that Rob was doing with his camera. Imagine that on the screen because of the boat movements and the
I was just showing you what was going to happen to the box office when this movie comes out. It's just going to be sinking.
Whoa!
And it's going to be trash.
Wow. Rob going experimental.
So basically, the two that basically call cash are up here. The two that call trash are down below.
Because here's the thing. It's like there's already a great horror movie that's probably going to be picking up steam in Talk to Me. So I can't imagine that this is going to take any attention away from that.
Yeah.
But really,
okay, go ahead.
When you're looking at like star power or anything, you have to look at like, okay, who is the lead of this movie? Who did they get to really be like the hero?
And who's
Corey Hawkins?
Big name people in this.
Let me tell you who the lead is. The lead is not the cast. The lead is Dracula.
Yes, but he's going to be Dracula at night on a boat in the ocean with very little lighting. This is not exactly going to be a very visually stunning movie or something that's going to keep people captivated.
But you know what's going to help it though? Barbie. Because Barbie is so upbeat and colorful and cheerful, and this is diametrically the opposite of that.
Yes.
Well, that's what Oppenheimer is.
And if you want something smaller, that's what Talk to Me is for. It's like, this really isn't fitting any niche that's not being serviced at the theaters right now.
Okay, let me ask you guys in this case here, because now we're divided on this.
Right.
$100 million budget. What is the threshold to call it trash in that case for you guys?
Okay.
200, 225? What's that?
All right, so $100 million budget, meaning probably has to make 200 in order for it to break even because of promotion, even though I've barely seen any promotion for this thing. Yeah, look, if you had Dracula on like a cruise liner, then we could talk.
The Love Boat.
But yeah, like in order for this to be considered trash, I think, yeah, let's state this. Based upon what a movie would need to make in order for it to be successful or just break even. If your movie makes a quarter or less, let's say a third. If your movie makes a third or less of what it needs to break even on its opening weekend,
Mm.
it's trash. Because at that point, you really don't have the benefit of the doubt of it being able to like have legs, build up, and keep going to get to their goal.
So you don't feel it's going to be a slow burn movie?
No, I think it's gonna have its fans that go ahead and see it in its opening weekend, and then that's it. This is not going to be a movie that travels by word of mouth.
I'm not going to go either way because I was the one that predicted that Avatar 2 was not going to do the success that the first one did. So, and then you proved me wrong with the slow burn part of that. So I'm staying the heck out of that slow burn conversation.
Well, the difference is that was much more colorful, much more bright, and it's also a sequel to the #1 box office film of all time.
I was going to say, people were waiting years for that.
This is going to be a very dark, very shadowy monster movie on a boat, followed by the guy who tried to keep 24 going and failed.
Howard Kasser? Oh no, Corey. Oh, that's what that guy is.
Yes, he's the guy that replaced Sutherland on 24.
Yeah,
for like one season before it got canceled.
Yeah, I remember that. It was definitely
that's the star power you have for something like this. Nothing against Corey Hong. He's a fine actor, but if that's what you're getting for your lead in something like this, then you're already trying to simply base it on the fact that you're hoping Goodwill and creature feature people will drive this movie, and I don't think they will.
I feel like this would be a better movie for a streaming service.
Well, every movie seems to be a better movie for a streaming service.
Like if this was like a Shudder original.
I feel like there's some movies that should go to theaters, and then there's some movies that just should stay on streaming. But that's just me. Because, like you said, there are places that you're spending $25 for a ticket. Now, with me and being in Arkansas, I only have to pay $8, but I don't even want to pay $8 to see this. So,
ouch.
All right. So, all right.
So what's next?
I got to tell you, I'm really curious to see what happens there.
I think I know what's
next. I was like, just get this trash out of here.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the next movie. Yes.
No.
Yes.
By the way, I'm going to sum this up in the alliterative form of haiku, if I can pull this off.
Yeah, please.
Definitely trash.
No, it's going to be
Zolo cannot carry this. Sorry, it will fail.
No, it's going to be cash. Cash.
I'm going to be a tweener with this because I had talks with somebody regards to the Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, I was thinking the same way you were until I finished having this conversation with this person.
Tyler, unless Brock is going to F5 the Meg in the movie, no, Tyler.
we don't need friends. We got family.
All right, so I'm going to say this. My heart wants this movie to succeed.
It's going to.
I want it to succeed. But this has something to do with one thing. Promotion and promoting it to the right audience. And the reason I say that, because you have to bring up Black Panther. You have to promote this to the Latin community.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't promote it right to the Latin community, yes, it will be trash. But if you promote this to the Latin community and it succeeds, this will be cash. So I'm using the Black Panther theory on this film.
What's the budget?
120.
I personally think it's going to be cash. And I say that because of me meeting the actual main actor, and I really enjoy the way he's been humble. And I saw the trailer. I'm just
That
very
doesn't
excited.
mean crap though.
And this is the first movie to James Gunn's universe.
No, it still
Still
doesn't.
doesn't. Yeah.
But it still doesn't.
I don't know.
Technically, no.
They said this. Well, this will be the
They
first
say
one to start
they
off.
said Blue Beetle was the first character, but
To start off
Superman
the
Legacy
universe.
will be the first
That's what I
movie
mean.
in James
I don't
Gunn's DCU.
I don't know. I really think this is gonna get about 300 million, maybe more.
300 would be cash in this case.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Davion,
Yeah.
that conversation that you had that brought you to this idea of yours with the whole Black Panther thing, that was mine. I said that to you on Saturday as we were leaving the Ninja Turtles movie, as we were going down the escalator of the Empire 25.
Wow.
I am the one that said that to you. So you taking my idea, you rat bastard. Oh my God.
But I was thinking.
He
that
didn't even
the whole-
credited
Hold
you.
on, hold on.
Yeah, I know.
No, he just said, I had a conversation with somebody. Not
Yeah,
that I had a conversation with
somebody,
Ryan
and they,
just 2 days ago.
No,
No, this mysterious
Ryan,
person.
Ryan.
whose
is there a
happy
different
name
somebody maybe?
that
Okay,
made
I'm trying to protect you a little
Javion
bit.
really reconsider his approach and use terms that I used.
You just plagiarized them.
Yeah, right.
But no. But
You
Ryan,
sneak thief son of a...
hey Ryan.
Just keep talking. He's not going to listen. And honestly, Rob just checked out, so he's not
He
going to
is
listen.
Ryan.
I'll listen to you. Go ahead.
I know, Ryan.
Yes, Day.
You know that was payback, right? Jeopardy.
Sorry, I can't even see what that says. No.
You know that's payback from Jeopardy, right?
Payback from the Jeopardy episode we did a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not the same. No.
No, I was payback, bro.
No.
But all seriousness, Ryan was the one that stated that at the movie theater. I will address that, yes. And yeah, you brought it to light because I was rooting for that film because I want to see this film succeed.
Hmm.
And I had faith with this character. I had faith with it. But then when you gave me those ideas about if the Latin community, and then you know what? That basically lit a fire. Like, if this does well and the Latin community goes in, this is going to be a huge success.
However, I will have to say, what was the budget on this again?
120 million. It's doable.
It's doable.
It's possible. I will tentatively say cash. But
So are you, besides me, are you three not going to watch this in theaters is what I'm hearing?
Let him finish his thought first.
no, I mean I'll see it in theaters. But the thing people need to understand about this movie is this was a movie that was originally not even slated for theaters. This was going to be a straight to HBO Max, back when it was HBO Max, DC movie, just like Batgirl was.
Seriously?
Yes. They saw what Blue Beetle was going to be, and they were like, you know what? We're going to put this out in theaters. It's not going to be a Max original direct film.
That
with that in mind, I almost feel like the way DC has gone with the films that they've released in theaters, this might have been a safer choice to put it strictly on Max. Because now, with this whole James Gunn, old DC, new DC sort of thing, with this whole, Shazam not working, Flash not working, he's technically the first character, but he's not the first movie. It's like, you would have been better off just having it as like a standalone movie on the network itself before you made any kind of big dramatic showing on theaters. We're already seeing that Aquaman is going to go ahead and have multiple reshoots again.
Yeah.
We'll get to that
Is
one.
going to now, once we get to Cash or Trash on that thing, That's going to be trash because that thing is already inflated,
Well,
and
that's
it's probably inflating it in order to make it coexist with
Because
this
also,
movie
don't
and
forget,
Superman
Amber Heard.
Legacy, and that's probably not going to work out well for it. This thing at least started from the ground up.
Right.
So it was like, let's just see what we can do with this character on its own and see how he can, maybe dive into the young adult Gen Z sort of thing, the same way the Turtles are doing.
Right.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So that
Same.
film was supposed to be
not sure they want
an HBO Max exclusive.
Yes.
Hmm.
Back when they were, shelling out money and doing projects to build off of the Justice League Snyder Cut, they were deciding, okay, how do we bring people onto Max? And before they started saying, hey, we'll do day and date release on Max, release in theaters, they were thinking, okay, we should do some DC exclusive stuff, much the same way that Disney has done Marvel exclusive stuff for the streaming service. Batgirl and Blue Beetle were two films that were pitched at the time, and yeah, they both got shot up to the point where it was going to be possibly Batgirl was going to be sent to theaters as well, as opposed to being just released on the streaming service. Blue Beetle, they said, okay, I like what we're seeing here. I like the looks. Let's push it out into theaters, because they already knew that they had lost money by having things released day and date on the streaming service. So now they were trying to find other things that they could push into theaters to make up more money. That's why Blue Beetle got pushed. Now, is it a smart idea? Yes. Is it the right time? Probably not. Not the way things have gone this year for them.
Because to be honest with you, when I saw the trailer of this looked really good. And
Yeah.
you know what I really got from it? Guyver vibes.
You know what else though? There's one other thing. August is typically a take your kids on vacation month. The last chance for a vacation before the kids got to go back to school.
Right.
That could theoretically hurt this as well.
Correct.
Or you'll take, when you're on vacation, you'll go see this movie too.
Maybe. Yeah, it depends on where you're going.
Depends
But
where you're going.
I don't, like I said, I just
Exactly,
don't think.
Mwamba. Like,
Yeah, look at Flash also is probably going to hurt this a little bit, although it's a little further back in the rearview mirror.
You're right.
Because at this point, in a lot of ways, and I've said this before, people I think are just simply burned out on comic book projects. It ran its course like horror movies did, or sci-fi movies, or westerns back in the day. Things have a flow, and eventually they get burned out, and you move on to the next thing. There is so much trying to keep the comic book movie industry alive, even though that cash cow is completely dried up at this point, and those udders have very little milk left in them.
I will have to.
Go ahead.
I will have to disagree with the Flash comment, because there's a lot of reasons why that movie failed, and one being because of the actor that's in it. I know a lot of people strictly didn't see it because of who was in it, and that hurt it.
Represent Woo.
What?
Jersey represent Woo.
Pretty much.
But
One
yeah,
town over from where I grew up.
So it's like, that's why I got to disagree with the Flash comment compared to this movie. This one, like I said, I'm really excited. This is going to be hopeful, the one I've been waiting for months for. And, seeing his performance of the character, knowing what he can perform, because I've seen him in Cobra Kai and stuff, I really think it's going to be a really good movie.
Yeah, but he's not. Zola Mara Duane is not lead material here.
Well, we're going to see.
I wouldn't say that, because there's a lot of people that don't look it, but when we see them on a big screen, it's a whole different ball game.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still see trash here.
Well, we'll know next
like I
month.
said, tentatively.
Right.
I think it can make its money back, but it's going to struggle.
It's going to be close.
It's going to struggle.
It's going to be real close.
It's
Or
really
you're
also
gonna-
going to have to depend on how many people show up opening weekend.
Right.
Or how many tickets Warner Brothers themselves just buy
Right.
to fudge the number. Or maybe they'll have a deal with Applebee's where you can pay $35 and get a free
Wait.
ticket.
We're not gonna discuss that. We're not gonna discuss
Because that
that.
worked so well with Dial of Destiny. All right, we got one more.
Okay.
Ooh. else is August?
Oh, we're
'Cause
not
out
even
of all
going to the dog movie.
out of
Oh,
Okay,
God.
yes, and this one it was interesting. This got pushed back 2 weeks because it was supposed to come out, I think, like the 11th, and now it's not coming out until the 26th or something
Mhm.
like that.
End of the month.
So I did think it was interesting, but I am excited for this too because I love the game growing up.
Okay. Yeah, a game movie that's based on a true story, which is really just odd. So it's not like the game itself. It's about getting your way onto like a gaming circuit because you play the game. I think did I get that right? It's like very Wizard, the Wizard like.
Yeah.
Essentially, they
It's kind
Nissan or however you want to pronounce it, they did run a competition in
Mhm.
order to find the best Gran Turismo player, and that person got put on the team, and that's what really happened. This kid, he ended up becoming a race car driver because of his skills. This is basically like the dream of every single video game player. We
Sure.
always want to believe that our skills are good enough that if we were given the chance to do the thing in real life, we would excel.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know if Gran Turismo is basically the most thrilling title as far as video games franchises are concerned. I don't know if it's the type that's going to bring a lot of people in state-wise. But overseas, I could see this playing very well.
I know it brought me.
I'm
in.
going to disagree with you, Ryan, because there
part?
were screenings of this film, and I've ran into the director and them, and so far, the audience that saw this film, this is going to be a good film. They really love this film.
I'm sure it's going to be a good film, but remember, with Cash or Trash, we're not saying whether or not the film is going to be good. We're saying whether or not the film's going to make money.
What's the budget?
Yeah,
100.
100. Oh yeah, cash.
You said 400?
100.
Oh yeah, cash.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see this as a cash. This could easily be one of those movies that's probably not going to be as popular in the States as it is overseas. Simply because the Gran Turismo brand is more of a worldwide brand as opposed to how it is in America.
Now that's the actor that plays Hellboy and from Black Widow, correct? The guy.
Yeah, David Harbour. He's playing the coach. You've got Legolas back there. He's the guy running the whole competition, and he brings on David Harbour to whip these kids into shape.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of got standard sports theme about the coach doesn't think any of these kids can do it, but then he finds the one shining hope, and it's like, you can do it, kid, and then the kid does it. Yes, it's trippy in that sense. But I think. Okay, enough of the music.
Well, listen, that's basically what this movie is. It's like the Rocky of video games.
Yep.
And technically, there was already a Need for Speed movie.
Yeah, it was. I know. Mario Kart.
We had Mario Kart with the Super Mario Brothers movie.
No, like Mario Kart, the actual movie.
we had our taste. That's all we needed. We had Rainbow Road.
Let's go.
But yeah, so I said cash. Day said cash. Ryan, did you say cash?
I'm saying cash.
And Scott,
I think it's going to be an important enough movie for people to see that, hey, not all video game movies are just, splashy, wannabe plot sort of things. Like, this almost
based on a true story.
Like Tetris, where Tetris was a movie about a video game, yes.
I love that movie.
It was more of a biography, like a docu.
Yeah, it was showing all the crazy things about how it got made. And this is pretty much along the same line. So as long as the filmmaking is good and, the character, the lead is captivating enough, then yeah, I could easily say this being like a Tetris thing where people probably haven't seen Tetris because it's strictly on Apple. Here you have the next best thing.
Right. Now, what you say, Scott?
I was going to say this kind of movie also, because of the movies that we've already covered with this, from we'll say the Meg all the way through Blue Beetle, there's a little bit of a potential lull in like the big box office draws and the big blockbuster. So people might actually be more inclined to see this movie. Also, because a lot of times people come back from their vacations third week of the month. So the kids will be back, they got to get ready for school and everything. You can sneak this in pretty easily,
Right.
better than you could say, the week before, when it comes to the kids going out to, to the theaters, while on the last vacations they've got. But this one also has the appeal because of the racing aspect of it. It may not be Fast and the Furious, but it's got that kind of a frame of mind, I think, a little bit, where you're going to want to see that, you have a need for speed, we'll call it that, where you can go in and see this. And then also the growth and popularity of the esports industry, across the board in so many ways. I mean, this movie could be the launch of something really big,
Yeah.
from like the esports perspective, to the point of like, that kid, who's really good, but really wanted to get onto like a Fortnite team and never could. That could be the future as well. Esports is in a lot of ways taking over regular sports. Esport movies, and this kind of could be the new future that they're going to be running with. Because boy, if you're going to hit a demographic, you're going to hit that 25 and under hardcore with an esports movie.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's hard to say that there's ever really been like a bad car racing movie. Death Race
2000.
Which one?
Carradine. And Sylvester Stallone, by the way, pre-Rocky.
Which one?
Death Race 2000.
I never saw that.
Basically the movie where you got paid money for running over people.
No, but when you think about car racing movies, you've either got like things like Days of Thunder, or you have things like Talladega Nights.
I was just going to say the better the Ricky Bibby.
Yeah.
Now,
Shaker Bait.
Trust me, I will go into this movie, and if I see some country stuff going on, I will yell out, Ricky Bobby! Take a make!
You and probably a lot of other people.
By the way, I probably would have said it too, right?
By the way, do you know how that movie was pitched? They pitched that entire movie and got a green light with 6 words. Will Ferrell as a race car driver. And they were like, bam, done, go.
And speaking of race cars and esports and Death Race.
Why is Day talking like he's an AI algorithm?
Because Scott knows where I'm going with this one.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He's talking in the third person. He has no idea. Yeah.
Scott, what did I watch and I binge watched on Sunday?
What did you binge watch on Sunday?
Yeah, tell us. What did he binge watch on Sunday?
I actually don't know.
And I was talking to you about it this evening before the show.
You probably were, and it just
yeah, he was listening, but not listening.
Scott. What did Davion have for dinner tonight?
I don't know. I was watching him eat, though, before the show started. Dude, I legit don't know.
You got a better chance of answering that than whatever he's bringing up.
Okay, Dave.
All right, so I'm just going to say this.
I'm sorry, man. I feel like I'm failing you here.
No, it's okay.
So, yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. That one, by the way.
What?
Yeah, that's. By the way, I remember.
Twisted Metal.
I was just playing you there. It was Twisted Metal on Peacock, starring that guy from the end of 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Twisted Metal is a little bit of a different thing because they've made that basically a comedy.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that was the best option they could do because so far, that series is really
doing good,
booming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, I sat there and binge watched that whole show, and that show is great.
Mm-hmm.
But take it as a pre-tournament. Don't take it as a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So like Mortal Kombat's movie before the actual tournament.
But it makes sense because it explains certain characters in the franchise.
Right, which is fine. There's enough movies. There's enough video game movies, I should say, that pretty much have just gone ahead and tried to redo what the game has done.
To
go ahead and do a prequel to try to like set a basis for this sort of world.
Resident Evil.
Considering some of the creations for Twisted Metal are, a little out there. I especially love the guy who's pretty much just the one guy who just stands there with like the 2 giant tires that roll him around. It's like, how does that function?
Well, remember there was that movie Tire?
Basically, a human segue.
You
Now,
remember,
I do have
remember
a
that
quick
movie,
question with the-
Tire, where it was a tire
Yeah.
that just drove around, or just rolled around and
Rubber.
started killing
Rubber.
people.
You're thinking
Rubber.
rubber.
Oh, rubber. That was it. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it is a must watch, ladies and gentlemen. Twisted Metal on Peacock. It's a must watch. Check it out.
You have to have Peacock though.
Yeah, you
So-
have to have Peacock.
Or there's probably streaming websites that probably have it.
As
Probably.
Weird Al Yankovic said, a torrent of options.
But question with the Gran Turismo, sorry.
Mhm.
Do we think they pushed it back 2 weeks because of the Barbieheimer? They thought that would affect their
I
box
think
office.
so.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a smart decision for sure.
Yeah. Because like you see, it says originally August 11th, but it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
coming out until the end of the month of August.
Yeah, no, that's like I said, you have that lull where, what do you have before it? Blue Beetle and Demeter. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get that last movie before the kids have to go back to school. You get that last movie before like Labor Day weekend too. So,
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, don't forget, look at the poster that they have there. That's also one of those ones that back in the day where they were touting around exclusively in theaters. So
yeah.
they wanted to make sure that you knew this was not something you were going to find on a streaming network that weekend.
Tyler, by
Yeah.
the way, was talking about the show on Peacock, not the Gran Turismo. I'd be impressed though.
Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Now, I was late to the show. Did we talk about the passing already?
No, that's why I put that in the comments actually.
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Who wants to start this one?
I'm gonna be honest. I found out by another coworker. When
Okay.
I didn't even know on Facebook. I didn't know anything. The coworker came to my desk and said, "Did you know Pee Wee Herman?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute! Stop playing! You joking, right?" So I actually rushed to my Facebook to find out that he actually died.
I was
And
going to
when
say
I
you saw
told
my
her-
post.
I
That was
was
when I sent out
like,
the group message.
and I was like, "Yo, that was like, that's what's the best word to say it? He is like a national treasure.
Hmm.
That's the person from our childhood. Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Emmy winning.
Yes.
Helped a lot of kids back when there was not a lot of educational television necessarily during Saturday mornings. Pee Wee was there.
Right.
Him, Terry, John B, Lawrence Fishburne as a cowboy with a Jerry curl.
Peter Murkison, well before she did all those episodes of Law and Order too.
Yeah,
Phil Hartman was on there.
um,
Phil Hartman got a start from that.
E.G. Daly was in it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as Dottie.
well, yeah, that goes back to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those things that it was a staple of Saturday morning on CBS.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the
Mine-
only thing to watch on CBS, really.
Hey, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures was,
Adventure was-
pretty awesome.
Hey, don't,
No.
yes.
It was
Yes.
dude, you had Keanu Reeves, George Carlin, and Alec Winter
Yeah,
doing their original voices. You can't complain about that. ever.
Right.
exactly.
And then they moved it to NBC, changed the voices to what ultimately became the live action TV show of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually, yes, that was a thing. But no, in this case, back in 2015 and 2016, I was standing in on the show Gotham on Fox. First, Donald Logue, who
that,
played
right.
Bullet. He, at that same time, Paul Rubens was brought on for a bunch of episodes to play Penguin's father,
Yes.
which is ironic because he did the exact same thing back in Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Across about a month, maybe about 6 weeks, our paths kept missing each other. I'd come in at one time, he'd come in an hour after. He'd come out in the morning, I'd come in. There was ships that were in the night, and only one wanted to actually basically see the other ship. And it was always one of the biggest bums of my filmmaking life that he was right there in the same building repeatedly at Steiner Studios, and I never crossed paths with the guy. And it always bothered me. And it was one of the biggest filmmaking disappointments of my entire life, is the fact that I never got the chance to hang out with him, even though I was literally in like the same building with him constantly. And in this case, when I found out earlier about this, and the fact that apparently he had cancer for about 6 years, I think it was, and never told a soul about it. He was very quiet, very private about it.
Very Chadwick Boseman like.
Yes. Good example on that. Yes, 100%.
Or Kevin Conroy, because Kevin
Also-
Conroy
also
died
fair
of
one,
cancer
yeah.
too. Without telling you.
In this case, that seemed like something that he would do to protect his audience. And that's where I think there's a certain nobility and regalness, if that's a word, to how he handled this. That's why it shocked so many people. Additionally, only being the age of 70 in the process.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed on a few different fronts. I know you guys are too, because also in my case, and Ryan, I think you too, we're old enough to remember Pee-wee's Playhouse, back in the day.
I mean, I'll take it a step further. I'm old enough to have watched those Cheech and Chong movies where Paul Rubens first got his, go.
Yes. Or
Like, people don't remember, like, he did the Pee-wee character just to like help him break into things. He mentioned it on Jimmy Fallon's show once, how his first role with Pee Wee Herman was when he went on the Dating Game.
Mhm.
And he went on 3 times as Pee Wee Herman. And one time he actually won. I don't know who that woman was, but God bless her. But yeah, Paul Rubens, he was in with Cheech and Chong, man. He was doing the weed movies, and that's just what you try to do when you were working out in California at the time. You tried to gleam onto what you could.
Right.
He was someone who etched out his own career.
Mhm.
The creation of that character will far and away stay with the general public, not just because of his look, not just because of his mannerisms, but it will just be one of those things that has been so often imitated but never duplicated.
Mm.
Pee Wee Herman is like just a character that, yeah, you could easily get somebody to maybe take over the role a decade or so from now if you wanted to do something with the franchise or with the IP, but it'll never be the same as it was with Paul Rubens. The fact that people were saying Pee Wee Herman died or Pee Wee died, not Paul Rubens died.
Right.
Pee Wee died. And he's done other things since. Obviously, he worked in the DC universe as Papa Cobblepot. He's done voice work. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was in Mystery Men. He was in Blow.
Sphincter.
Derek For Real. He's done a lot of great work. But this creation that he created himself wasn't a studio manufacturing of any type. It's not like, they said, hey, let's put you in this costume and see what works. This was all him. Whether it was the stage shows that were a little bit more adult themed before he became kid friendly, all the way up to his most recent movie, his big holiday one that he had on Netflix, which was like Pee-wee's Comeback.
Yeah,
Right.
2016.
The one with Joe Manganiello, who apparently was really tight with him in real life too. They were really, really close.
The fact that he was able to just be this character and embody it to such a degree that he basically almost had like a second career as himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying a lot. Any actor worth their salt would wish they could have pulled that off.
Right.
What's funny about it also is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Pee Wee Herman character came about because he lost out on SNL. Because he was he was in the running to be on SNL, and they went with Gilbert Gottfried instead, who, yes, he was on there, believe it or not, there as well. So I think out of that, I think is where Pee Wee Herman was born.
I could see that. I don't know if it's true, but I could definitely see that. And even it's not like Gilbert Gottfried stayed on SNL for very long, but their characterizations, like, they have a similar look. They had a similar sound to a certain extent. Definitely recognizable. Definitely stand out. So I could see how one would be overshadowed by the other one.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've lost both of them, it's like, God, comedy is just dying, man. It's like
in more ways than one.
It almost makes me want to do a bump of Blow, man. It's like, just get one out for Paul. If there were still sex theaters or porno theaters, I would go ahead and do one for him. Because that's like the only scandal he ever had.
and it wasn't even that serious. Like, how many
Well, by
people?
today's standards, no.
Well, it's also because of who he was and what he represented that became such a big deal.
Yeah.
Right, that's why he had to do that crack cocaine commercial, right? That
This
PSA.
is crack.
Imagine Pee Wee Herman, serious as all hell, with like a little thing of crack cocaine, doing a PSA with the Pee Wee Herman voice. It will weird you out, man. Especially when you're a little kid seeing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will say,
It's right up there with Simon from the Chipmunks saying the word marijuana.
Marijuana.
Dude, that PSA, man, it is
Dude,
so dark and dreary at the
it was
end.
the 80s, man. We had that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we had that also. That one was like, who taught you to do this stuff? You, all right? I learned it by watching you. Parents who take drugs have children who take drugs.
I will say, I actually had a chance. I ran into Paul Rubin at a convention.
Okay.
I didn't get to talk long or anything because he had bodyguards. He had like 3 big bodyguards surrounding him. I'm like, yo, it's Pee Wee Herman. He looked back, he smiled and waved, and then kept on walking. So
Was he in the Pee Wee outfit?
no,
Ah,
but that's what I knew him as. That's why that was my first reaction. It wasn't it's Paul Rubin.
right.
It's Pee Wee Herman. Like we were
Who
stating.
most people, I mean, the character
And-
more than the actor, really,
Yeah.
because the
And
character personified.
I
his
actually
whole life.
I have the Pee Wee Herman Funko Pop, and I was hoping to one day get it signed. Unfortunately, can't now. But
Well, do you know who else he assisted in their career? Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pee Wee's
Oh
Big
yeah,
Adventure
no,
was
he
Tim
worked
Burton.
on Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yes, and nobody ever. And,
The whole
and
Large
also Big
Marge
Top Pee
thing.
Wee, I think he did too. But it kind of got Tim Burton going. I think Danny Elfman too. That might have been the first Danny
And
Elfman movie.
if I'm not mistaken, it got E.G. Daily too as well.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know if she was doing much voice work prior to that.
No, I don't think so. I think in the interview she said that was her first movie that got her successful, and then she started doing voice work. I think after that, shortly after, if I'm not mistaken. I know I tweeted her today and said sorry about her loss, and she gave it a like, and then I saw she did a post and stuff.
Well, no, not a tweet.
It's still
It's an
Twitter.
X. Yeah, you
It's
X.
It's still Twitter. Funny thing is, speaking of that, is
It's a tweet like
Apple-
HBO Max is still HBO Max.
Apple has already said that they're not going to take the word Twitter off of the search engine on the App Store. They changed the picture, obviously, to an X, which was freaky waking up and seeing an X on my phone. I was like, what the freak is that? And I don't like getting notifications with the X either. I'm like, the notification, I'm like, no, I don't like. I'm really tempted to delete the app.
A lot of people are.
I have to keep using it because of Major League Soccer.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that Pee Wee Herman did the one thing that Elon Musk can't. He's listening to reason.
But you know,
I laughed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was one of you. Somebody made a post today that cracked me up, and they said Elon Musk is more obsessed with the letter X than Sesame Street.
wow. But in that note, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to say you will be missed.
Yes.
And of course, special shout out to Angus Cloud too, from Euphoria. I just wanted to point him out.
yeah.
Irish to Irish. Gotta
Ghost to
represent.
Ghost.
And
Yeah, that was-
also
2 other people. That passed.
another person passed. I think I forgot her name. Celine something.
I don't know because everybody's been in the comments saying it comes in 3s, and I was like, "Who's the other 2?" And they gave me the last names, but I didn't know who they were. But there was 3 passings, and with the.
Well,
last
I want to point out Angus Cloud. Kid was only 25, had abuse issues, had mental problems, but the fact that he had to go ahead and have whatever happened to him like a week after his father died, like no person should have to go through anything like that, and the fact that he felt like he was really suffering, I do feel for the kid, especially considering he may have a lot of things coming down the pipe still. You will probably see things with Angus Cloud within the next year or so. Even though it won't be season 3 of Euphoria, but
yeah. By the way, we got to bring this positivity back a little bit here. Holy crap, dude!
I'm sorry.
It's not fucking dark.
I am trying to give
wait.
like a young actor in the prime of his life.
Are you talking to my mother-in-law? Is that what the fuck happening right now?
And now you're bringing up Frozen 3 coming out. Like, who cares about Frozen 3?
Hey, let's go. Frozen 3, baby.
I do not care.
But
Well,
the
I
third
do. I'm a
person
huge
was
Disney fan.
Cynthia O'Connor.
Yes, the O'Connor.
What? Say again? Davion, what was it?
Cynthia O'Connor. The Irish.
Sinead O'Connor, you're talking.
Yeah, Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah. The fact that you can't say Sinead.
No, dude, is that shit? That is not a Sinead O'Connor.
That
Okay,
is Sinead O'Connor, you bastard.
All right.
You're making me go Scottish, which you never want an Irishman to go Scottish, because that's how you know he's mad.
On that note,
I'm sorry.
All right. Hell, here's what we'll do. Yeah, right, fucking bastards, yeah. So, all right, folks, thanks a lot for tuning in. Sorry it was a little bit of a downer towards the end there. I apologize for that. Anyway, I'm Scott. That's Davion. By the way, my name is Scott, too, if you go figure that out. Anyway, down there is Ryan, who basically is denying his Scottish heritage there.
Yeah.
I pretend he's Irish instead with the whole O'Regan thing.
Like,
And over there is Rob Manning. I have no
I
bloody
ain't got a bit of Scottish heritage.
I've got no idea.
And I don't want to be doing it, but you're making me doing it.
Are you not?
I'm Scottish too.
From redhead man,
I'm Scottish as
I
well.
will soon be wed.
I am Scottish.
Okay.
That is some false flag Scottishness.
Aye.
Oi.
Aye.
Oi.
That's the kind of shite that we will see on St. Patrick's Day, where everyone goes ahead and puts on a green shirt and says that they're going to be Irish for the day. You don't get Irish for the day. You either have to live at the hand of the beer or you don't. So get the shirt off and get out.
You know what the whole thing? The whole thing about being Irish there is they know they do that for a bloody day there.
I'm a spicy little leprechaun right now.
Oh,
You know,
Rabble.
you know, something like, you know, let's be a Jew
rubbish.
day.
Rubbish.
Rabble.
Oh,
You know,
God.
I'm married to a Jew. My mother-in-law's a Jew. You know, I've got a shtickle of Jew in me. But, but you never see anybody be like, you know, kiss me, I'm Jewish.
Yeah. And also, you have to look at this. I'm a black Scottish.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know what your ethnicity is.
I'm 5% Scottish.
Is that ancestry?
5%?
It counts. It counts.
Now, see,
Only in
usually it's the other way
alcohol.
around. It's like, I'm 5% black. I'm oppressed. Woo!
Yeah. Go ahead. Use that, Scott. I dare you. Go on the picket lines and use
Dude, there's an
that.
episode of South Park that's in where like Randy found out he's like 1% like, you know, Native American. He's like, I'm oppressed too. I come from oppressed people. Like, dude, you're like 1%. So,
God.
welcome to the whole Irish thing there.
That actually remind me of the Family Guy episode when Peter found out he was black and then he went.
Dude, that was classic. That was the first episode of Family Guy I ever saw. Which also, by the way, had a really nice kind of funny tribute to Pee Wee Herman. So there you go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but at least Peter Griffin was definitely Irish.
hey,
Back in the island.
absolutely. You know,
yes.
when he found out eventually his dad wasn't his real dad.
Exactly.
They even have a song about it with my drunken Irish dad.
Is it?
Yeah, they did.
Hmm.
You'll have to find that and do it as a short.
I don't know. Stay away from red-haired Mary. She and I will soon be wed. See the priest this very morn. Tonight we lie in a married bed.
And not to know it, we'll basically see you next time. Next Monday, same channel on Tales from the Film Set.
Same bad time, same bad channel.